In today's world, access to news is always at our fingertips. With just a few clicks on our smartphones, we can access information about the latest events happening around the world. But why should we do so? Consuming too much news can have a negative impact on our mental health and well-being. This is a high price to pay, given that most of the news is likely to be meaningless to our own lives. In this video essay, we will explore the reasons why we should limit the amount of news we consume, focusing on the following arguments: the impact on mental health, the quality of information, the distortion of reality, and personal relevance. First and foremost, consuming a constant stream of negative news can have a negative impact on our mental health. As many of us have experienced, too much negative news can lead to feelings of anger, injustice, anxiety, depression, and hopelessness. This can lead to long-term physical and emotional symptoms. These feelings can be particularly dangerous if they persist, as they can lead to long-term mental health problems such as depression and anxiety. The news often focuses on problems, but doesn't offer solutions or ways to take action, increasing feelings of hopelessness. Secondly, the constant bombardment of news, especially negative news, can increase feelings of anxiety and stress. This is because our brains are wired to pay more attention to negative information because it is seen as a potential threat. Some news outlets use fear-mongering tactics to attract viewers. When we are exposed to negative news, it can activate the fight or flight response in our bodies, which can lead to unnecessary fear and anxiety. In addition, the constant consumption of news leads to information overload and can be overwhelming, overstimulating, and thus have a negative impact on our well-being. Another reason to be mindful of news consumption is overgeneralization. News outlets often present a narrow view of events and facts, which can lead to overgeneralization and stereotyping, or they present information out of context, which can make it difficult for the viewer to fully understand the situation. This can prevent people from developing a more nuanced understanding of the world. For example, when news outlets present only one side of an issue or show only one group of people, this can lead to a lack of knowledge and empathy for the people and groups that are not represented. We must always assume that any issue is too complex to be fully understood in a short period of time. But how much is our opinion worth if crucial information is missing? Would we value the opinions of others if we knew they did not have the full picture? One of the main reasons to be cautious of news consumption is the feeling of helplessness and injustice it can cause. News outlets often focus on negative events and sensational stories, such as crime, accidents, and conflicts, as these tend to generate more attention and interest from audiences. Stories of other people's disasters are often too much for us to resist. Furthermore, this constant bombardment of negative news can desensitize us to violence and suffering, leading to a general apathy and disregard for the suffering of others. News outlets have to compete for audience attention, and often resort to sensationalism and exaggeration to do so. This can lead to a distorted view of reality, where people believe that the world is a more negative place than it actually is, thus leading to feelings of hopelessness and a sense that nothing can be done to change the world for the better. This can lead to a decrease in overall well-being and life satisfaction. Good news stories often go unreported or underreported, and this can lead to a neglect of all the good things happening in the world. Especially the little things in life like friendship, a stranger's kindness, or simply children playing in the streets. These are probably not newsworthy, but they are things that make life good. Positive news stories can provide a sense of hope, inspiration, and motivation. They can remind us that people are capable of great kindness and compassion, and that progress and positive change are possible and actually happening. Positive stories provide a realistic perspective, showing that the world is not as bad as the news would have us believe. Historically, news has been in short supply. It used to be reserved for kings or lords who received new and relevant information on which they had to act upon. The printing press, radio, and television all changed the way news was produced and consumed. The internet has even brought about a new era of news consumption, where information is available to us at all times, and in vast, overwhelming quantities. The problem with this is that not all of this information is relevant to our own personal lives. With the increasing globalization of news, it can be easy to get caught up in the latest events happening around the world, regardless of their relevance to our own personal lives. News today is delivered at an astonishingly fast pace, with news stories breaking every minute. This can make it difficult for us to keep up with the latest events, and can also lead to a sense of information overload. But most important, the news is transient by nature. Most news stories quickly become irrelevant within a matter of days or even hours. Why should we be informed about news that will be more or less forgotten in 2 weeks? This means that the majority of the news we consume is ultimately meaningless, and has no lasting impact on our lives. In the modern world, news is relevant to politicians and business people who rely on it to act or react accordingly. In addition, news that is relevant to your personal life can include news about your industry, hobby, or profession. This can help people keep up with the latest trends and developments in their field. It can also provide valuable information for networking and career development. When it comes to news that is the most important to our lives, we have to look at the people close to us. News about our loved ones, family, and friends can help us stay connected and informed about their lives and well-being. This can include news about their health, work, and hobbies. This is the news that deepens our relationships and on which our lives thrive upon. In conclusion, staying informed may seem important according to society. But what's truly important is to be mindful of the type and especially the amount of news we consume and make sure it's not negatively impacting our well-being. The vast majority of the news we have consumed has probably been meaningless to our personal lives. It is not important to be informed about issues that are beyond our reach and beyond our ability to influence. We do not need to be informed just to make superficial small talk. So we need to ask ourselves, do we really need to consume the news? Instead, we should focus on our well-being. Spending time with our loved ones, being outdoors, and enjoying our hobbies are all part of living a fulfilled and happy life. Peace of mind is priceless, and we should consider carefully before giving it up.